Welcome to Military Money and More. It's Travis Winfield here, and I'm excited to have, man, Anthony, I've known you for a hot second, brother, but AtEase Rentals, man. Welcome, bro.
Well, Travis, thank you for having me on again, and I love the welcoming voice.
Well, I told you, you can hear me from a couple miles away, so you don't have to worry about having a microphone for me, man. But Anthony, look, what I'm excited to have you on again is just because I want to promote and really talk through what your company, of course, me being in real estate and helping educate veterans on finance and investments in real estate, your company really found a niche. So first off, Anthony, tell us a little bit about your background, where you served, and then let's lead into what brought you to this idea of AtEase Rentals.
All right, so background with me, Travis, as you know, but I'll let the audience know. I served in the Marine Corps for 22 years. I started off in 1999 initially as a reservist, and I fell in love with the Marine Corps, transitioned over into an enlisted man where I was an N1A1 tank crew member, got a good deployment into Iraq, and learned a lot and grew up really fast. Was able
We all do.
Yeah, like we all do on those deployments. Was able to go back to school, get my electrical engineering degree, and then went over to what we call the dark side, where I became a second lieutenant in the Marine Corps. Now,
We won't hold that against you.
please don't. I did it to help more enlisted people out, so I was one of the good ones.
Yep.
And started doing air sport control officer. Fast forward to 2018, I got an amazing opportunity to go to the University of Texas at Austin and become the Marine officer instructor there and help cultivate future officers so they'll be much better for those enlisted service members. And when I did that, that's what brought me into creating AtEase and the idea of it, because I used Airbnb doing a permanent change of station and found out that the rules that revolve around lodging restrict Airbnb, VRBO, and the likes of the sites that do that. Lost $1,200. I took to Facebook like any good person would. I said, hey, Facebook, how do I get my money back? Who's going through this? And learned that this was an issue that many service members were facing whenever they use one of the platforms that hosts short-term rentals, vacation rentals, B&Bs, whatever you want to call them. So I didn't really come up with a company per se, or I did create a company. I was just like you. I wanted to get in real estate, just got my license from Virginia, and that's the path that I was going to go down. But instead, after starting to see from the Facebook replies and comments that more service members were losing their money whenever they use Airbnb, or it took like crazy amount of months to get reimbursed, 9 months, 12 months, a whole year and a half later. And for me, I was like, this is a disservice to our service members and their families. As you know, we go through a lot, we do a lot, and we kind of suck it up a lot on both ends of the spectrum.
Embrace the suck.
We embrace the suck,
Embrace the suck. That's all we can do.
It's so bad we have like Semper Gum, means always stay flexible, which no other person I know has.
I've even said that you can't even be flexible anymore. You got to be fluid.
You got to be very, yeah. So when I saw that there was a family that came to California, there was an article that was out on how they lost $7,000 for their temporary housing stay. I was like, there got to be a better way. And I just started coming up with, what if I created that better way and what would it look like? And it went from a horribly named company to a friend who was in the Navy telling me my name sucked and said I should call it something else, which was where AtEase came from.
Nice. And what I love about it, Anthony, is that you really found, we always talk about that better mousetrap with any business. And I always say military men are actually have a heads up in entrepreneurship, and because we've already got that instilled discipline. Why businesses fail so often is because you don't have the discipline to follow through, man. I've been following you from the beginning. And, so much so I invested in you, right? Like,
absolutely.
And that's how much I love it. When I find something I believe in, I put my money where my mouth is. And what I love, though, is that you found a solution to a serious problem in our military, because the military is a huge organization. It doesn't move fast. And so, you think about it, the short-term rentals is a relatively new concept.
It's relatively new for anything and everything. So it's not just military. Just think about how slow government,
right,
federal, state, local, all of it is really behind the times 10, 20 years.
Exactly. So you found a niche to fix this, so our service members now have a place to go reach out to that they can solve that short-term and even mid-term rental problem. I mean, because coming here to San Diego, for example, if let's say you want to go to military housing, there's a 6 to 12 month wait just to get into military housing.
It's crazy. Just to get on base housing, that's crazy.
Right. And then even still, what if you get here and you want to buy a house? Well, that takes sometimes a month, 2 months to even close on a house.
Absolutely.
So having an option that people can go to that they could at least get reimbursed, at least for the 10 days of TLE
Right.
that they're entitled to. Whereas if they couldn't, and the reason why it's such an antiquated concept and procedure for the military is how many people like love to shove their entire family into a hotel room.
They don't love it. They have to. There's a necessity. They say it's a requirement because they're telling me this is all I'll get back. But like you said, if you can take that temporary lodging expenses and say, hey, what if I can subsidize staying in a house for just a couple of $100 a day? That would be much better than giving all my temporary lodging expense TLE to a hotel and being confined in that hotel for a week, 2 weeks, 3 months at a time.
Absolutely. I remember actually moving one time where I was just creative. And I needed a short-term rental for like 6 weeks. So, what I did is before any of this was an option, I actually went over to an apartment complex and said, hey, can I rent your model?
That's pretty smart.
And it worked. So I stayed in the model unit at an apartment complex for like 6 weeks, but we need more of that.
We need a whole lot more across the country, across the world.
Right. And so I love your concept. And so with me, I'm, of course, growing a real estate network called the MORE Network, the Military Operated Real Estate Network. And this is going to be an awesome ancillary service that we plan to offer all of our realtors around the country. And so I'm really excited for you, man. And so what other options like if somebody's interested in the short-term rental, but can you explain the difference between short-term rental and mid-term rental?
So short-term rental, the way it's being thrown around in the industry today, basically comes from the government requirements for taxes. So it's typically anywhere from 1 day to 28 days. Some places it could be 1 day to 29 days. The mid-term rental term has kind of made its way post-COVID, but think more of your corporate housing type of models where it's 30-day stays, 90-day stays, 6-month stays. So that midterm is that sweet spot to where you don't have to sign a lease, but you can stay somewhere where like you did for 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 6 months at a time.
And they're generally furnished too, right?
Oh, generally furnished, Wi-Fi equipped. They have the smart TV. Some of them come with cable. Most of them are smart TV. I got put that out there because I had a call today. Like, how do I get on a regular TV channel? I was like, no one does regular TV anymore. But yeah.
Well, that's awesome, man. But this is not just for our military members. What I also love about it, it's an opportunity for our veterans to invest in something that we need service for, right? So
100%. Veterans can invest in it monetarily. Veterans can invest in it by getting more properties in towns located to military bases, our government agencies. We know better than anyone else where the training areas are. We know which bases had a high turnover. So it just makes sense that those properties where people are trying to PCS out of quick and they're like, hey, I just need to sell it. That's a great opportunity for individuals to go in, buy that property and convert it to a short-term rental and have the confidence in knowing what that turnover will look like. It won't be a quick 2 days come in and wreck your house on the weekend like other platforms. It's going to be a service member coming in or a group of service members coming in to conduct official business that are going to take care of the property, and they pay because the government is paying.
And that's actually what I love about it. Look, I know I'm biased when I say this. I'm sorry. I'm a career military man, but nobody knows what it's like to serve unless you've served. And what I do love about your model is that every one of your customers or clients are military for the most part.
Absolutely.
And they've been vetted in life at least once.
At least once. And we vet them twice because they have to go through ID.me.
Oh, there you go. There you go. So that's great. I mean, and that's what we need. We need more companies like yours that can fill these little niche problems that we have, because it's a systemic issue that we're having with the military, whether it be that financial health, right?
Yep.
I mean, that's a big issue that I go door to door teaching, because, we don't teach financial health enough.
We don't at all. Well, we need to. And it needs to either be in the service or post-service like you're doing with this podcast.
Right. Well, I mean, and that's the key, right? We need to focus. And I'll take it one step further. We need to teach our children.
Oh, 100%.
I did some research on this. There's only 7 states in the United States that have some kind of financial education in high school. Only 7.
I know that's too late. It should be taught in elementary, and I've been fortunate, like you say, you got to teach your kids, and I've been having classes with my kids and say, hey, what's the difference between this and this, and kind of put them through a couple of scenarios. So it is sad that we don't invest in financial wealth learning more, but we got to start somewhere.
Well, that's also where this is an option for people, because especially our service, I'm going to touch on what we were just talking about. What an amazing opportunity that, say, for example, because here's what I teach, right? I teach people, like, from the real estate side. I teach, okay, you're in the military, buy a home at every duty station, but here's where I'm a terrible realtor. If you don't have to sell, don't. Keep it. Build that up. Buy a home at every duty station you're at, but keep it. And then, whereas before I was like, all right, well, just put a renter in there, right? Because at least they're paying your mortgage for you. But now you have options now with AtEase that you have. Let's say you don't want to do that. Let's say you want to do it a short term and a midterm. They can turn it over to you guys, and you can now actually have it managed and help, and you protect their investment, and it grows, and you can make a cash flow even more than you can with a long-term rental, right?
100%. 100%. A lot more than a long-term rental. And I don't think you're a bad real estate agent or broker when you tell them don't sell. What I've seen, the ones who want to dibble dabble and get into the property management space, it kind of helps their model too, because they'll sell the home, the person relocates, and then they end up being the management company as well. So for those that do that, I think it's a great idea. I've actually had a captain when I was a young corporal sergeant about to go to school. He said, buy a house at every duty station. I didn't listen. And I know why other service members don't listen is because of that fear that we have. And I'll tell you, if you can get over that fear, like I wish I would have, it's going to pay off in the long run. He had 10 to 15 homes, and he had them right after 2008 and 2010 timeframe. And I called him and said, how are you doing? He said, I'm still holding on to my properties and buying more. And I was like, damn, sir, you're bold. But today, if we look at the opportunities that the VA loan presents, it makes sense to buy wherever you go. And for those single service members, one of the things I taught my future ensigns and second lieutenants, buy multifamily.
Oh, yeah.
And what I mean by that, it was single family residential, but it was a duplex, a triplex, or a quad.
Yeah, because you can buy up to a fourplex with the VA.
Buy up that fourplex, and then go find out those other ensigns and lieutenants that need a place to stay and rent each one individually if it's 2 bedrooms, and then get you a roommate and rent that out. So now you have 5 other people for that fourplex paying your rent. You're still receiving BAH and all these other
Or one step further, maybe do one long term, turn to the other, you should over to AtEase, and you could have it all rolling. That could really
cash flow a lot.
Right. I mean, and this is unfortunate, but I've said this many times, and this is where I think we fail our military, is that, you know, when we're talking financial health, the reason why they're so scared is because it's honestly the blind teaching the blind. 100%. Think about this. If you have a Marine, when you were in the Marine Corps, or me as a sailor, what was the first thing we do if they needed any kind of financial advice? We go to Fleet and Family Service Center.
You turn them away.
They'll take care of you, and they won't turn them away. But we'll
turn them away to something.
Exactly.
else.
We just turn them away to a resource that we were told to use. But the problem is, we're sending our Marine soldiers and sailors and airmen to go get educated by people, I hate to say it, are getting paid minimum wage.
Yeah.
Like, is that who you want to learn financial health from?
No, and that's the biggest problem. Like you said, not only that, they are giving them the safe way and the safe path. Like, invest in this CD that doesn't pay anything, right? Invest in this mutual fund and bonds and stuff like that. It's like, no, how can I, as a young 19, 20-year-old, take a lot of risk because I have time and find those opportunities that's going to return 6, 7, 8, 9% on my investment, like buying a multifamily or single family residence.
Absolutely. And that's where, you know, if we continue to just teach it, go door to door, we're going to have a lot smarter of a future, especially today with the whole blended retirement.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. They don't get the high 3 like we do.
Oh.
And so they got to actually plan for investing. And so we really need to pour into these young military men and women so we can get them prepared for the future. Otherwise, if we think we have a homeless veteran population now, it's going to get a lot worse.
And we have to fix it now.
Exactly. Because, I mean, we're going to fast forward 10, 20 years from now, and it's going to get ugly. So, dude, I mean, Anthony, just thanks for everything you do, brother. I look forward to our partnership in the future. So if anybody wants to learn more, can you tell everybody a little bit more how they can reach you, how they can learn more about AtEase?
All right, so if you want to learn more about AtEase, one of the easiest things to do is go to our website, which is PCSAtEase.com. Then the next thing you can do is go check out our Facebook page, Instagram page, our TikTok page, our Twitter page, and LinkedIn page. I have pages for everything and everywhere. And also Google search us. We're an early company. I just retired a couple of months ago, back in June of last year. So we're still pushing out a lot more information, but they'll be able to email me directly, or they'll find a phone number that comes directly to my cell phone, and I'll talk to them like I'm talking to you to kind of educate them on what we're doing, how we're doing it. And another thing I'll say, I love what you're doing with the More Network, because we're looking for more people who serve that own properties and manage properties as short-term rentals, because they get it. It's one thing to understand short-term rentals. It's another thing to be culturally competent and know your people that are coming into your space when they say, hey, I'm coming in for a PCS or TDY. That just kind of makes the relationship a lot better when you're dealing with service members.
Right. Well, and that's what I'm excited about, because right now our More Network is going to be nothing but actual veteran real estate agents or their military family members who've been through a PCS move, people who understand the military lifestyle. And to have a resource like AtEase Rentals, that these guys now, is not just a simple, oh, buy or sell real estate and then that's it.
Right.
Now we can educate our clients that, hey, you have choices, you have options now. We give them the resources, then man, sky's the limit for the future of our veteran community.
And they can make a lot of money.
I know.
I wish if I could, the stuff that I learned a couple of weeks about from being in DC, a lot of people are going to benefit from being a part of AtEase.
I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more, man. And I'm incredibly excited for the future of it. This is reminiscent. The reason why I invest is this is reminiscent of, you hear like Jeff Bezos sitting and starting Amazon in his garage. Dude, you were literally going door to door yourself. This guy's a grinder, this guy right here. And I've seen, man, you take everything personally. You personally handle stuff, and you're going to grow this thing to be an incredible company and an incredible resource for our veteran community. I really thank you for that, man.
Thank you, Travis. And for those service members who are transitioning out and want to do a skill bridge, we're approved skill bridge program. Wow. And as we continue to grow, as you said, we're going to be hiring military spouses and veterans just like you, because I believe in order to be successful, we have to get the people who experienced it and lived it.
I couldn't agree with you more, man. I'm actually in the process of working on where I want to build out an entire network of military spouses who are stuck staying at home, but they know everybody, right?
And they're overeducated, underemployed.
I couldn't agree with you more. So my goal is we're going to work together on this. We're going to crack this. We're going to crack this nut too, man. We're going to figure out how to employ our mil spouses whenever they're transferring, so they can have steady income and employment around the country wherever they're PCS.
I already got the nut cracked. Let's talk.
Let's go, man. All right. Thanks a lot, brother. I appreciate you, man. And we'll talk next time. That's all we have for this episode of Military Money and More. And we'll see you next time. Take care.
Peace.